Welcome, I'm your host, Steve Penate, realtor and host of the Steve Talks Real Estate Show, where we bring you value, content, and tips in all things real estate and housing related. So on this episode, I'm so excited. We have Russell Shaw on the show today. Russell Shaw is a legend in the state of Arizona in regards to real estate. As a matter of fact, I grew up watching Russell Shaw commercials on television. So I'm so excited he's coming on the show today, and we'll be talking to sellers. Now, there's one rule. When Russell Shaw speaks, we listen. And I'm so excited to see what content and value he is going to bring to us on the show today. Let's go. Hey, what's up? So we are here at the Russell Shaw headquarters. For those of you that don't know Russell Shaw, you must not live on this planet, okay? Because the whole state of Arizona knows Russell Shaw. He is one of the most respected persons in the real estate industry, not only in the state, but nationally. He helps out literally hundreds of agents every single week. There is not a selfish bone about him, and that is one of the things that absolutely drew me to him when I got into real estate. He really stands behind everything he says. So Russell Shaw, thank you so much for being here with us on the show.
It's my pleasure, Steve. Absolutely my pleasure to be here.
As we usually do, we always bring you the best in real estate, and nobody has sold more real estate in the state of Arizona than Russell Shaw. When Russell Shaw talks about a subject in regards to real estate, I mean, it's probably the best content out there. So
Better than that, actually. Well, I think the thing, when we look at the subject of selling a home, and it's not a really complex thing. You could look at what affects the a home selling. You could say there's the price, there's the location, there's the condition, there's the agent. These are the things that affect a home selling. The location can't be changed. The condition is partially a function of the price. And no amount of marketing will overcome a bad price. One of the biggest mistakes that a seller can make, and many people are very prone to make it, is they go to what are called automated valuation systems, or the AVMs. The most popular of all of the automated valuation systems is Zillow. Oddly enough, of all of the automated valuation systems, Zillow would be the least reliable. They're all awful. I mean, just quite simply, they're all awful. When I say awful, you could say, well, isn't Zillow ever right? Yes, they are sometimes exactly right. And I could say the same thing. A stopped watch is right twice a day. Okay? You can go, but isn't it right? Yes, but most of the time it's wrong. Most of the time it's so wrong as to be silly. And the reason it's wrong is they use a really stupid method, but it's the only kind you could use if you're using an automated computer-generated number, is they just take wherever, they use it like Google Maps, take the location of the house, they go out in a quarter-mile radius, they take all the sales in the last 30 days, they take the average price per square foot, and then just multiply it times the subject property square footage. Is that ever correct? Yes. Is it a reliable method? No, it's hideous. It's absolutely ridiculous. What about the condition of the house? Do you sit next to a busy street or back up to a park? That's not square footage. Yeah, if the house is on a busy street, is it going to sell for less? I would think so. If the house is in terrible condition, will it sell for less? Yes. So it ignores that kind of formula. And the other thing, one of the first rules we have when we're doing research on a property is we're not going to cross any busy streets. Wow. We're going to get the neighborhood we're actually doing the research on. Well, this requires then we have to kind of do look at the maps and actually have some boundaries that make sense. Gotcha. Because otherwise you're not even talking about the same neighborhood.
Something I personally see a lot is that sellers usually say, hey, well, that house over there sold for that much, but it's crossing a major street.
If it crosses a major street, we just toss it out. We're not going to look at it. I don't mean to be combative or argumentative, But like where we're sitting physically right now, you cross Tatum, go on the other side, you're in a different zip code, you're in a different school district. This side of the street is Horizon, that side's Scottsdale. It's just a shadow. It's just a completely different school district. Well, would that matter? If you said to me, why is Horizon High more desirable than the school on the other side of the street? I could not answer that question, but I can tell you over the years, I've sold dozens of houses that were on one side, and they went through all the trouble of selling and paying the expense of selling, the expense of buying, to buy a house about the same on the other side so the daughter or son could go to Horizon High. Wow. So, or you go down to the Madison School District, you'll see the same type of thing where someone, oh, we're in Madison. What makes it better? I'm not qualified to respond. Like, I'm really not, to answer that question. But there is something about certain schools that parents go, oh no, we want our kid in that school. Well, you can't start crossing busy streets and keep that consistent. And our ability that we want the same quality of construction, we want the same year, we want to compare really apples and apples. Yeah. And this is not to take something away from the seller, in fact, quite the opposite, because when it goes to, well, are we going to just robotically use price per square foot? No, never, because we have to, before we even get into trying to figure the price, do a supply-demand analysis of a specific neighborhood and go, does this particular neighborhood on this particular price range, on this particular type of property now favor the buyer or the seller?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And any competent agent, whether they could articulate it the way I am right now, understands it. I mean, they act upon it, whether they could explain it well or not. And the fact remains that in certain neighborhoods, you could find out what the comps are, and you could price way ahead of the comps and still sell the house instantly. And in some neighborhoods, the market is so bloated with inventory that take the comps and go, yeah, if you want to sell yours anytime soon, you better price below them.
Wow.
And that's just a function of looking, not a computer analysis.
Gotcha. The best way to actually get this type of accurate information is to obviously meet with a real estate agent, correct?
A competent real estate agent would be the only person who could actually supply that information to a seller. They're not going to get it online. If it doesn't hurt anything, if someone thinks it's funny to go into Zillow or Fun and plug in their address and see the price, here's a news flash. Do it once a month and you'll see the price go up and down as though the market was going up and down.
Yeah.
And it's not. The market is not moving like that. It never has moved like that. Their arithmetic formula is just nothing short of silly. This isn't to bash them. It's going, if somebody says, well, I found Zillow says this, or Homes.com says that, or Trulia says this, or the one at Realtor.com, it's not a damn bit better. Yeah. Actually, it is slightly better, but it's still stupid. Like the one the National Association of Realtors has. Yeah. Is it slightly more accurate than Zillow's? Yes, but that's saying it's not wrong. They're both worthless if you actually want to know the price of the house.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'd go, oh, look what they've done. Not that much.
Obviously, there are many factors involved, but do you think that price is probably one of the most important factors into how fast a house will sell?
Well, it's certainly in the top area. The other things that enter into it, because if you have it priced correctly, well, you could have it underpriced. You could have the house, let's take that, you could have it underpriced. You think it's at a certain price, and you put it on the market at that price, and instantaneously get an offer. Now, what most agents would do is rush over to the seller and say, good news, we have a full price offer, as though there was some magic to the price. But what was the full price? The agent and the seller agreed to the price, therefore it's the full price, but it's a nonsense statement. If you got an instant offer, and let's say it's on a house not priced at $700,000 or $800,000, but let's make it a house for $200,000. Well, those houses are so scarce in Phoenix right now. A $200,000 house, you get an instant offer. Wait a day, you'll have two more. Yeah. Wait 3 days, you'll have. We had one we had 17 on.
Wow.
So here's the thing: we're representing in that case the seller. We go back to each one of those people and say, we have X number of other offers. Would your buyer like to change theirs?
Gotcha.
And we find out what the actual water line is,
Yep.
and our prior opinion is irrelevant. In the same way that if we go, well, this one ought to sell for 210, yeah, it ought to, but no one will buy it at 200. Doesn't matter what we think it ought to do.
Yeah.
We've overpriced it, change it. But conversely, we sometimes underprice it. Well, change it.
Yeah.
And people go, what if they write a full price offer? That's irrelevant. There's no such thing as an offer the seller needs to take. You can go, I'm not rejecting it.
Yeah.
And then we can look and go, well, we should have priced it there. Change it. You could find, I mean, we represent the client, not our opinions.
Yeah.
And so those kinds of things. The condition always enters into it. And there are things that a seller can do that change the price they're going to get without spending a bunch of money. Like if the house is dirty or there's a bunch of dishes sitting in the sink.
Yep.
Does that cost a lot of money to clean the sink and clean the kitchen? Put them there? No, but I will tell you. You talk to any experienced agent,
Yeah.
and go, will dirty dishes in the kitchen change the price? Yes, it will. And you can go, well, why does that? Why should that enter into it? Well, because people are people, and they're going to have an emotional reaction. They see that kind of stuff in a house.
So good.
They will respond accordingly and go. Emotionally, they might not intellectually say this, but emotionally, they're like, there's probably some other stuff wrong with this house that I can't see.
Yeah.
Stuff I can't see.
Yeah.
And you walk into a house where Mr. and Mrs. Clean live there. How's the plumbing? I'm pretty sure it's good. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. One other thing I would cover, Steve, is there's a phenomena occurring here that I haven't seen at this level before. Open Door's the most well-known of them, but they're not the only one. There's a couple of hundred. Let me just characterize almost all of them as vultures, pretending to, well, we'll buy your home and you don't have to pay any commission and you won't have any extra closing costs and we'll take it in this current condition. And they're acting sort of like they're doing people a favor. The fact of the matter is that if they give you an offer that would actually be where I would net more money, they're not going to honor that offer anyway. Yeah. They're not going to honor that offer. That's so they can come over and grind you down. And I'm not saying everything they say is false, but I can tell you most of the investors are attempting to buy houses for about 30% less than what they're worth. Meaning if your home was worth, let's say $200,000, they're going to want to get it for about $160,000.
Wow.
That's the truth. Wow. That's what they're going to want to get it for about $160,000 and explain how you don't have to pay a commission. I'm going, I have a problem with that. Yeah. You can go, well, yes, you do save the commission, but when you get done, they just took, I don't know, let's say $40,000 that could have been in your pocket instead of theirs. Because their goal, they're not trying to buy a rental, they're trying to buy a house to sell to someone else for retail. So if I made a sweeping statement, most every seller, if they found the most incompetent, most buffoon agent they could, not someone like you, I'm talking, find a moron, they would still come out ahead over those investor offers.
Well, that wraps up episode number 41 of the Steve Talks Real Estate Show. I'm so excited. We keep bringing you the best with the best in real estate. Russell, thank you so much. I'm honored to have you on the show. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.